Welcome to Executive Insights. My guest today is John Comacchio, Senior Vice President and Chief Information Officer with Teknion Corporation. Teknion is a manufacturer of high-end office furniture, headquartered in Canada with a global footprint. John shared his secret sauce for collaborating with his C-suite peers and the business units. He explained why the investments in digital technologies have paid off in ensuring business continuity and continue to enable the business in the recovery phase. We also covered the topic of future of work and what are some of the key strategies for organizations to consider as they migrate their workforce back to the office. Hello, John. Thank you for joining me today.
Well, thank you, Nasheen, and my pleasure, and I'm looking forward to our discussion today.
So, John, you are SVP and CIO with Teknion Corporation, a manufacturer of high-end office furniture headquartered in Canada with a global footprint. So my understanding is Teknion does everything from design to manufacturing. Can you talk a little bit about how Teknion's business model works?
Sure, absolutely. So Teknion, we have a vertically integrated supply chain. So basically, we design, engineer, manufacture, and consolidate and ship our products. So because we have a vertically integrated supply chain, we have the ability to actually make anything you need that isn't on our roster of products, because we have the design element, the engineering element, and the manufacturing element. And we source all our goods from a raw material perspective. So we really don't buy any finished product. Everything starts from raw goods, and we make exactly what the customer needs as we fill their buildings around the world.
That's very impressive. And I must admit that I do know a thing or two about Teknion, and that's partly because of our close collaboration in the CIO community in the last so many years, and partly because I'm just a big fan of your products. And, you know, we are actually a happy Teknion customer. So right now I'm standing right beside my favorite height adjustable table from Teknion, which I actually, this particular area, I spend most of my time on every day. So thank you for.
Thank you for your business, and terrific. And the design element fits exactly perfectly into your design of your room as well. And that's one of the beauties of well-designed office furniture.
So John, you are a champion of collaboration, working with your C-suite peers and the business units. What's your secret sauce, and how is your team continuing to enable the business and improve the customer experiences?
Right. Well, thank you for that. That's an excellent question. I think, being on the C-suite is one of the most important parts for any CIO, because you sit at the table and you share a seat and you share a voice. So I think that's one of the first pieces. The second piece is, we all have a job, and our main job is to really drive the business forward. But the day-to-day job as a CIO, you have to uphold resiliency and capacity of the company. And you have to uphold cybersecurity. And by upholding those two, it allows you the time and effort to focus on digital transformation. Because if you don't have the ones above, you're focusing all your attention on those. So you need a lot of attention on those two, but digital transformation is what's going to drive the business forward. And one of the keys from my perspective, like myself and my team, is we immerse ourselves in the business. So we believe that we are an I and IT organization. We're an information and information technology organization. We're not a technology company. We don't create technology. We really take information and we drive it through technology to help run the business. So by immersing ourselves in the business, we understand the business, we understand the needs, and we also understand the human capacity that is in different parts of the business so that we can actually start to deliver and transform how the business runs. And we have an underlying strategy around mobile first. So we believe in mobility within the campus and all our campuses, and mobility of our employees within all of our facilities worldwide, which really means they're mobile when they're out of our campus or on our campus. So I think those key elements really help us drive the transformation. And then, of course, the tie into our customers. We service mainly Global 2000 customers. They're very demanding, and they themselves have a lot of digital transformation going, and we're there to meet their needs. So if they want us to punch into a marketplace, if they want a special microsite, which encompasses all their sites that we service and the products we service, we do that as well. If they want a B2B e-commerce for their employees, we're there to meet their needs. So the whole digital transformation is really tied into upholding the business, making the business resilient and moving the business forward, and really leveraging and using everything we have around data, around information, and around capability within our company.
Those are fantastic insights. I really appreciate that, John. I wanted to pivot a little bit and talk about the impact of the pandemic on business. So as we know, the lockdown and border closures, while were absolutely prudent to curb the spread of the virus, they're also disruptive. In manufacturing industry in particular, the supply chain disruptions seem to be a big concern in the early days of the lockdown. I'm wondering, how did Teknion weather those storms, and what's the role of IT in ensuring business continuity?
Perfect. So as far as business continuity, we all had to execute our business continuity plan during the start of the close down and subsequently ever since. So we have a very robust business continuity plan, and it really focuses on two types of events. An internal event, which is something that happens within our facility, possibly something in a plant, a fire, or something of that nature, and or a system outage or a power outage. Then there's the external event, which really is where COVID is. An external event is tied to health authorities, government authorities, road closures, border closures, et cetera, right? So because we addressed both of those in our business continuity plan, we were able to execute fairly quickly. And because we're a worldwide company, we have executed business continuity in other cases, terrorist attacks in certain centers around the world, tsunamis, power outages, floods, right? Floods in Calgary, for example, our own country as well, right? So because we have a very robust plan, and because we have executed it before, this was just another execution of it. And the baseline of it is really our robust networks and systems and the ability for all of our employees to work in a mobile way. So that was the baseline from an IT perspective. And from a business perspective, we have multiple facilities around the world. And in Canada alone, we have many facilities. And most of our facilities can double as another facility if we had to do that. For example, in this case, if a facility happened to shut down, we could shift the workload to another facility. That's how flexible we have created the manufacturing process. And as far as the supply chain goes, because we're vertically integrated, we have a few very key strategic suppliers. So we are in touch with them daily anyway, and they provide a lot of our materials for us. So we got ahead of this curve as we saw it come in, because again, of our worldwide footprint, we saw this curve happening in Asia early, and then we started following it around the world into our European operation, and then finally into North America. So we began preparing quite early. Not stockpiling by any means, but just thinking through what we would need, how we would do this, and working with our suppliers. And of course, we are in contact with them every day anyway, because of our vertical integration. So that part of the business continuity plan naturally just flowed and just executed the way we wanted to execute.
The pandemic certainly has heightened the importance of technology and in many ways accelerated the digital transformation efforts for organizations and industries. I'm wondering, what should CIOs do to continue that momentum? And especially given the circumstances now, many organizations are under the cost-cutting mandate and must take health and safety into consideration, among other things.
Right. Well, I think the first three actions all of our businesses took really were the health and safety of employees, suppliers, our customers, because we were interacting with them at that point. The second one, of course, is liquidity. Everyone had to sit back and say, make sure we're cash positive, make sure we have liquidity, because who knows how long this is going to go. And the third one is our strategic planning and what pivots we had to make and how we have to continue to focus on the mid to long term, assuming this will be short to midterm. And of course, the biology will help us. Once the vaccine gets created, that should settle things down. But who knows, right? Either way, we have to plan. But we can't take our eye off the long-term strategic plan that we had. We might have to pull back a bit. We might have to shift a bit. And what we did is with our pandemic task force, which was our executive team plus key strategic divisional heads, part of that, we looked at what we had to stop, that immediately, what we had to continue doing, which was a lot of the digital transformation that helped us through this pandemic. the digital transformation we've been doing over the past 10 years really bore fruit through this whole process, because everything was there that we needed to be there. And the strategic elements that we had still in our plan to do and transform became even more evident that we had to continue that process. So I think it's important that most businesses like ours continue a path, but also cautiously, and also look at day-to-day activity and look at day-to-day liquidity and see where the marketplace is going to go. But we're looking positively as we all come out of this, and we want to be ready and strong and be where we are. And I think one thing that the pandemic has taught a lot of CIOs, as part of business continuity, we have RTO and RPO, so return time objective and return point objective. It's a very, very key part. And possibly a lot of people never thought clearly in their digital transformation that as you're transforming a business, and if something happens or it fails or you have to pivot and things go down, what is your return time objective? And where is your return point as you bring systems up or businesses up? And those are two very key factors that are probably getting a lot of airplay right now.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. I think those are really excellent use cases as well as sound advice for your peers in the industry and across industries. I would like to cover the topic of the future of work. And I know that's a topic that's so near and dear to your heart, and it's so important to virtually everyone these days. As companies continue with their work from home and hybrid models, now we're seeing, both pros and cons regarding not having to go to an office. I'm really interested in your perspective on, the workplace and the workspace of the near future. And also for many organizations who must migrate their workforce back to the office, what should they be considering as key strategies to ensure the health and safety of their employees while ensuring that the culture of trust, engagement, and collaboration is still in place?
Right. So I think I would start off with this, that proximity breeds innovation, breeds productivity, and breeds collaboration. So there will always be a need for proximity. The question now becomes, what's the percentage of that proximity? Because right now, pre-pandemic, most of us came into the office every day and worked our day, and naturally had the proximity that we naturally had, including traveling to other offices and or traveling to client sites, created that innovation and bred that productivity and bred that collaboration as well. So I believe strongly that there will always be a place for an office. But if we think about the office, historically people view the office as a place to go. There was equipment there I needed. There were resources there I needed. It was a place where I did my task. And that's really not what the office is anymore with digital transformation. And if you've transformed your office well, which the big test came as everyone went to work from home, that you realize that you don't need any of that anymore. But the office still is a place where you come in and you meet people, you build relationships, you innovate, you collaborate. It's almost an event-driven scenario. If you think of, you have an event, you go to a concert. You have an event, you go out for dinner with friends. It's an event, right? And if you think of the office maybe becoming that event center, where we're going to have a big meeting around a product. We're going to have a walkthrough of our digital transformation strategy for this area of the business. You need people in there together. And of course, there will be people from afar, so you're going to have them on video. So you need kind of a harmonious, there's physical people there, physically distanced, in the right kind of space that has a lot of air around it, so everyone feels safe, and you have the technology readily available to do what we're doing today, having a video chat as if we're right across from each other. So the whole technology piece that has a big role to play in how the next office will look, as it had a big role to play where the office was going prior to the pandemic. So I think that whole concept around 100% utilized as a building, I think we all have to determine what that means. But really, you need 60% of the people possibly in and out of the office all the time, and 100% of the people have to participate at any given point in time. And I think that's what the strategy will probably end up being, because we still need to get people together. We're humans by nature are social, and humans by nature want to be together. And being together driven by an event creates purpose, and purpose creates action. And then we, of course, have to provide the proper furniture, the proper settings, and the proper environment to make that happen, which a lot of our furniture does that today. And a lot of the open and collaborative office structures that people have been implementing really suits that today as well. What will change is if you have heads down work to do, you need a bit more privacy. You need a bit more safety tied to that privacy in a secluded office. But you still need wellness, so you still need lots of natural light, you still need good air circulation, and you still need the ability to do what you need to do within the office. So that's kind of how we're looking at it, which is really just an extension of where we were going, but maybe with a bit more finite view of that event side and the meeting side and the collaborative and productivity side.
Thank you so much, John, for all your insights today. I truly enjoyed our conversation. This is another episode of Executive Insights by the IT Media Group. Thank you for tuning in.